Good morning and welcome to Morning Brew on Labour Social. I'm in Liverpool and I'm wearing a suit. Well, I've got my suit jacket somewhere, but I've got a shirt and tie on, so it must be important. There must be something going on. And obviously, it is the Labour Party conference here in my hometown, which is very edifying because I get to show my friends who may not have been to Liverpool before around the city, and I also get to stay at my mum's, which is always nice. So, welcome. It is Monday, the 9th of October, 2023. You are watching Morning Brew on Labour Social with me, Graham Hughes, and we're going to talk a little bit about the Labour conference today. Obviously, there's other things going on in the world, and obviously a very serious situation going on in Israel, which I think that me and Ollie Bowler Hatman will be talking about that in a special edition of Geoscope later this week. But today I just want to talk a little bit about the conference and what my experience of it has been so far. So it kicked off yesterday with Angela Rayner's speech, which was brilliant and very funny, actually, to an absolutely packed out hall at 11:50 in the morning or something. And it went on, and the weather yesterday was beautiful. Not so great today, might brighten up later, but it was a bit better than it should have been. A bit better than it should have been for October. Global warming is a lot to do with that. But the conference, the atmosphere there is really positive. And, you know, I'm a worldly cynic and I never believe that things are going to work out the way you want them to until, the money's in the account. Like, I just don't believe things are going to get better because every time I get my hopes up, they are seemingly dashed on the rocks below for whatever reason. But I've got to say, this is going to be the last Labour conference before the general election. The general election is probably going to be May. The money's on May. Thank you very much to Ryan Brown. Your dress for the Tories' funeral. I'll be wearing a black tie for that. But yes, thank you very much. Yes, I'm dressed. Do you know what, mate? You know those carnival outfits that they have in Brazil for Mardi Gras. You know, with all the feathers coming out the hat, out the heads, and the big shoulder pads and all this, and it's kind of like, yeah, that's what I'm wearing for the Tories' funeral. That's what I'm wearing, matey. I won't be wearing a black tie. Believe me. Be a chance to party and to dance on the grave of the Conservative Party. Which, just something I want to mention actually before I talk a bit more about the Labour conference. This idiot Rishi Sunak, who's currently our Prime Minister, unfortunately, he's on this like one-man crusade to destroy any kind of environmental policies, and this goes back to Cameron. You remember him, guy with the pig, who talked about, we need to get rid of all this green crap, and he was the one who backheeled the drive for rolling out insulation around the country, and he was also the guy who brought in the essential ban on onshore wind farms, which meant that you only needed one objection to a wind turbine, and the wind turbine couldn't be built. Yeah, I'm just, I got nothing to say about that other than what you expect from the Tories. But a new one this week, and I was going to do a moment of truth on this yesterday, but I've been at the conference, so it's been a bit difficult to try and fit doing a moment of truth in. But I probably will do one on this because it's kind of unbelievable. The Tory party want to stop farmers putting solar panels on their own land, on the land that they own, that they farm, that they choose to do with, assumingly, what they please. The government want to ban them from putting solar panels on their land in order to, grow grain or something. But the government doesn't understand, because none of them have worked an honest day's work in their entire freaking lives. They've just had conversations and got paid handsomely for them. And occasionally had to make a decision, but only at the very last minute, once all the other good, the good options have exhausted. So we'll just take the least bad option. Yeah, well done for being decisive there. Whether it's scrapping HS2 or whether it's locking down for when we had COVID. Let's leave it to the very last minute. Let's never be at the forefront. Always be in the back of the pack, following. That's what we are these days. But yeah, he's gone to these. He said to these farmers, "You're not allowed to have solar panels. You've got to grow grain." And the thing is, with grain, you don't make any profit. Like, I've spoken to some farmers. I'm not a farmer, but like the farmers that I've spoken to, there's no money in grain. I mean, it's you get pennies for it, and it's just not cost effective. And what propped up the grain market, if you like it, or the wheat or the cereal market in Europe was the Common Agricultural Policy, which saw massive subsidies to farmers who chose to grow things like cereal crops, which they knew wouldn't make them much profit, but the subsidies would make up for it. And those subsidies have gone now because we've Brexited. Said, I know you're not getting these cap subsidies anymore, but yeah, we still want you to make that very unprofitable. We want you to grow this unprofitable crop instead of solar panels. Just absolutely unbelievable. Good morning, Graham, says Victoria. Hi, Victoria. How you doing? We got Loki there saying very smart. Thank you. I'm going dressed as a drag queen, says Lucy. I think I would as well. Yeah, definitely. I'll dress up in drag for that. Makeup. Amazing eyes, yeah, everything. The eye makeup, I mean, not my actual eyes. Irene says the government gets 5% VAT on all our electricity use. That's why farmers can't have solar and we can't have insulation. Well, it's one of the reasons. Also, the fact that the Tories have stopped the insulation rollout back in 2014, but also they're now trying to stop. We're not allowed to have onshore wind farms, and now they're saying we're not allowed to have onshore solar panels on our lands. We're not solar panels making electricity for the people. At the moment, 8% of our electricity mix comes from solar, I believe. And yeah, we could do more. We could do more. Solar's come on in leaps and bounds in the last 10 years, 10, 15 years. It's so much cheaper now to buy solar panels than it has been ever before. And this is just because of quantity. This happens with any new technology. When you start off, it's quite expensive. Electric cars, DVD players, flat screen TVs. And then after a couple of years, that you see the price starting to really, really come down. And that's what's happened with solar panels. And the idea that it has to be really sunny every day, it doesn't. It really doesn't. And what's useful about having solar panels at this kind of elevation, I know you think, well, it rains all the time in the UK. It doesn't matter. They're a lot more efficient than they used to be, so they'll get more power now out of an overcast day than they would have done in a sunny day back in the day. But in the summer in particular, they are absolutely brilliant because we're not equatorial. We don't have like 12-hour days, day and night. We have these really, really long days in the summer, and if we could just suss out our energy storage, then it's the kind of thing where we could, make hay in the summer and store it, and then when we needed it in the winter months for heaters and things like that, we'll be able to release that energy. And the technology is there. The technology is there, and it doesn't require some idiotic tower that builds concrete blocks or something. It just pump the water up a hill and then let it flow back down again. Really easy. Right, green is only good if you have your own beer and bread company, says Ryan. I don't know what that's about. John says, John Bull in there, Sunak gets a lot of praise for the furlough system, but people need to be reminded that he was also behind the major disease spreader Eat Out to help out. Yes, he was. Major disease spreader. I watched Partygate last night. Oh my God, I was raging. I was absolutely raging. I was watching it with my mum. And I was like, oh, don't mind me swearing. And she watches all of these shows that I make. And she's like, okay. Swear away. Absolute bastards. But yeah, watch Partygate on Channel 4. It will enrage you. It will absolutely enrage you. Quite rightly. It's been very well put together with the juxtaposition of the people who weren't allowed to even hug each other at funerals. Cut alongside on the same day that they were having these absolute momentous piss-ups with 200 people at Downing Street. All of which resulted in £50 fines for the 120 odd people who were fined. 50 quid each to very, very rich kids who went to private school and, trust fund children, Nepo babies, all that lot. And people who had a few mates round at their house during lockdown got £10,000 fines. People on minimum wage will never be able to afford that kind of money. Absolutely disgraceful. John says, sadly, the farmers voted for it. Well, if you talk to Liz Webster from Save British Farming, she gets very upset if people make that point because she says, well, actually, a lot of farmers didn't vote for it. But yeah, it did seem quite prevalent that if you're talking about Brexit, when the Brexit vote was going on, a lot of fields that I drove past I was driven past on the way to the Glastonbury Festival that year, did see a lot of signs saying vote Believe in the fields. That was my experience. I didn't see a single one saying vote Remain. Not a single one. So, sorry, Liz, if you're watching this. She might actually be here. Graham in the tie, it must be conference. Indeed, yes. Seems smarter to me to put solar panels on roofs where the surface is already paved. Better than covering a field that could be produce food or grow a forest, says Chris. Yeah, but we're in an emergency right now. It's all hands on deck. So I don't mind, to be honest with you. I mean, the most sensible place to put solar panels, in my opinion, is in car parks. Supermarket car parks, home-based car parks, B&Q car parks. Just put solar panels there that cover where the cars park, and that keeps your cars covered so they don't get snow on them, I guess, wet. And above them, you've got solar panels, and they could be used to help charge the electric cars underneath. Most EV users can get 10 pence kilowatt off-peak energy, but you can't get that rate if you have electric storage heaters, says Irene. Yeah. I know there's a special tariff on Octopus. It's less than that, I think it's less than 10p. It's pretty good. I mean, yeah, if you've got an electric car at the moment, you're on Octopus, or using a smart meter and using their special EV tariff, charge your car at night to 80%, which is enough to get you around for the week. If you just live in a city, you're talking about maybe £3 or £4. Wow. And that's Octopus Energy. That's not. I don't think that's a government incentive in any way, shape, or form. Try again. Where are my comments? Says Howard. Well, if you go to the top chat at the top, it says top chat, and hit on that and press live chat, you'll be able to see all the comments, which I sometimes forget to do. I forgot to do that today. But the comments that come up here are filtered automatically by YouTube because I don't have time to read everyone's message and moderate them and filter them as I'm presenting the show. I'm producing at the same time. Actually, Octopus at one point actually paid you to charge. That's Steve. Yeah, well, there's a thing I think where you can kind of get some solar panels and you can store energy from the solar panels and then spend it back to the grid. If you've got like a battery, you can store it and then send it back to the grid at night. Server, thank you very much for the £1 super chat. Really, really appreciate it. And talking at the conference, we are appearing tonight at Labour Social Live. There's a flyer for us. Camp and Fairness, there you go. The power and pitfalls of social media. And we've got Tan Supertansky, Tan Smith. We've got Phil, and we've got Femi, and we've got me, and we've got Marina Perkis from LBC, and we might be getting Gemma Forte as well on the panel, which would be fantastic. It starts at 5 o'clock. We've got 7 tickets left. So, good luck, everyone. You will be able to buy a ticket, but you'll be standing at the back from now on. So yeah, if you do want to come along, get a ticket in advance, and it's £3. If you get one on the door, it's £5. And to be honest with you, I don't know if we'll be able to get that many more people in there, but Camp and Fairness is quite a big venue, so I'm sure it won't be a problem. But yeah, so if you do want to come to that, like I say, handful of tickets left to it, but it starts at 5 o'clock, and we'll be talking till 6 on the panel, and then afterwards we've got the bar for 2 hours open afterwards. It's not a free bar, unfortunately. We're not made of money, but thank you very much for the super chats. We'll put it towards the cost of a pint of beer, Sarah and Gary, in the super chat there. And yeah, it should be a good laugh. Come meet us and have a chat. IRL, as they say. That stands for in real life. Mansplaining is when a man anyway, wish you could stream tonight, Graham. Well, Scott, good that you said that. We are streaming it. We're streaming it. So you don't have to actually come all the way to Liverpool if you don't want to. We'll be streaming it live on this channel at 5 o'clock till 6 o'clock, so you'll be able to watch the panel and what we've got to say about stuff. I won't be able to. I've got like an hour slot to set everything up, and that includes the chairs and sort out the ticket stuff, and also, filming and everything. So it's going to be a little bit pressed for time. So the sound might not be amazing, but I'm going to do the best that we can. I bought some. I should pick up my cable. I bought me super long HDMI cable. I've got like a really long cable, guys. Yeah, it's like sitting on the table here, and it's all like coiled up. And I've never used it for like its intended use, which was things like, conferences and things where I'd have the camera at one end of the room and the laptop at the other. But now I can. So get excited about that. Anyway, back to conference. So yesterday, loads of MPs there, loads of familiar faces that we saw. And also we had familiar faces in the shape of Steve Bray, and Louise from Northeast for Europe. Also, we had out there. I spoke to Naomi Smith from Best for Britain, and also Tom Brafato, who was formerly of March for Change and helped organise a few of those anti-Brexit marches that we put together. And used to work with Mike Galsworthy. Funnily enough, if you are in Liverpool and you're coming to our talk at 6 o'clock, there is a talk with Mike Galsworthy for the European movement, and it's at the Keynes Brewery, which is literally over the road. It's over up about Parliament Street. It's opposite where we're doing our talk at 5 o'clock. So if you want to come to our talk and then go to see Mike's, you're very welcome to. And then come back to our talk because the bar's still going to be open. But yeah, so there's loads of cool people out there. Oh, drinks. Thank you very much for the drinks kitty. If anyone wants to throw some money into the drinks kitty, I will make sure that this money goes on drinks for me and Tan and Phil and Marina. I don't think that Femi drinks, so we're going to get him some sticky toffee pudding. Thank you very much, Darren, there for the super chat for the drinks. But yeah, this is going to be our first sort of Labour social event, and I don't want this to just be a conference thing. So what I would like to do at this conference, cards on the table, is find someone who's a funder who would like to put some money into this channel, so we're not just completely relying on your generosity super chats and the little bit of money we get from advertising, which isn't as much as you might imagine, because a lot of our videos on this channel get demonetized, or well, not demonetized, but they get limited adverts, which is incredibly frustrating, especially as they always get remonetized a week after they've been put up, right? And then it's like, well, everyone's watched it now. Everyone's just going to watch this video, has already watched it. So I'm going to be going back into town in a moment. We're going to go into Camp of Fairness, getting some stuff set up, and then I'll be going to the conference, meeting up with Phil, meeting up with Tan, meeting up with Marina, hopefully, and Gemma, who had her birthday party over the weekend, which sounded like a laugh riot. I wish I was there. I wish I'd gone, but London is a very far away. There's a very positive vibe about the Labour conference, says Loki. Yeah, there is. There really is a positive vibe, and it's weird because it's kind of tempered by the 1992. Someone said in the chat the other day, they said, you're not old enough to remember 1992. And I thought, oh, that's very flattering, but yes, I really am. And I remember Kinnock standing up, and I think it was Kinnock who said, go home and prepare for government. And it was like the kiss of death. The Tories were madly unpopular at the time. They had just gotten rid just a couple of years earlier of their incredibly popular leader. Unfortunately, unfortunately that she was popular. I don't mean unfortunately that they got rid of her in Margaret Thatcher. And as a result of that, you had I don't think we had actually got to the turmoil of us crashing out of the exchange rate mechanism, the ERM. I don't think that had happened at the point of the election, and also we hadn't hit the recession that hit in 92. I think that came after the election. But pretty much everyone was expecting Labour to win that one. Not by a lot, not by a landslide, but they were expecting to win. Whereas the elections of the last 13 years, Labour haven't been expected to win. Labour's been like, oh, well, if we come second, that'll be good. And we had that weird spectacle in 2017 of the Labour Party leader who had just lost an election against Theresa May, who was terrible and ran a terrible campaign, saying, well, I think it was obvious who really won that. And I'm like, yeah, the Conservatives. Well, not really, because they lost their 12-seat majority and had to rely on the DUP for supplying confidence. What was it? Supplying confidence? Confidence and supply? I don't know. Basically, the DUP would team up with the Tories to vote on things like Brexit. Darian says, peanuts to go with Darren's drinks. Thank you very much, Darian. Really appreciate that. Maggie Milk Snatcher says, Tox, indeed. Someone should do Thatcher the musical. I can't believe no one's done this yet. Do you know what I mean? Just be really, like South Park not South Park the musical. The Book of Mormon. Just go, have some songs that are just horrible towards the Tories, towards Thatcher, towards the whole ideology of extreme brutalist capitalism. Let's call it that, because it is brutal. I know brutalism, architecture doesn't come from the word brutal. I know. Don't at me. But it is quite brutal. Extreme capitalism. Disaster capitalism is not what Naomi Klein calls it, and she's absolutely right. Disaster capitalism. That's making money out of disasters, and that's what the Tories do. Helen Wilkes, £2. Notify us when it's notified, and we can rewatch. Oh, thanks, Helen. That's really kind of you. But no, it's the live shows. Most of the pre-records that we put up, with the exception of Aid Thompson's show that we did on Saturday. That was a new show. It was a supercut. Aid Thompson's a stand-up comedian from London who makes these amazing videos, and I said to him, look, would you like to do a supercut for us for Labour Social, and we'll link to your channel. And he did that for us at the weekend. So we had Aid going out on Saturday, and we had Phil doing Labour Vision on Sunday. It was great. Oh, wow, look at this. David Faulkner, super chat. And a sweet and sour dish from me too. Oh, thank you very much, David. Really appreciate that. Which is pretty cool. Colin says, it was David Steele who coined the phrase, go back to your constituencies and prepare for government at the 1981 Liberal Party conference. Oh, shit, really? I always thought that was something Kinnock said. Okay. I've been wrong. It's happened. Finally. I knew it would happen. I need a button to press. You know, like, I was wrong and I accept responsibility. But it's always nice to be corrected in the chat in a polite and informative way. Constructive criticism is always welcome. Just blatant horribleness, criticism isn't. So yesterday on the way here, I was on a train full of people who were transphobes, which was very, very unpleasant. I had to work on the Labour Social website on the way, and I really didn't want to get drawn into a debate, but I could hear them chatting the whole journey, and they were saying the most horrible, obnoxious things. It was really upsetting, and then I saw them outside the conference, and they were protesting. And there was only a handful of them. There weren't many. There were not many. There were more people who were anti-bigotry who were there, sort of shouting at them, and actually shouting them down, because there were more anti-bigotry people than the bigotry people. I think it was a group called Let Women Be Heard, or Let Women Speak. And I was just thinking, listening to their conversations, they made derogatory comments about. They used some expressions that are racist. They were really disparaging about mental health problems. They were callous to the point of, I'm a cruel indifference to the suffering of trans people, gay people. It was horrible. It was a really horrible experience. And I actually arrived in Liverpool. I was like, oh my God, I was just sort of beaten down by this experience of being stuck on this bloody carriage and on a full train. I mean, there wasn't anywhere else to sit. And I had to get my bloody work done. I wasn't going to, start a fight with like eight very loud people who were sort of screaming and shouting on the train about all this. But it was like being on a train with a bunch of footy hooligans after a game for a team that you don't support, and they're just saying the most obnoxious things. Yeah, it was a bit grim. I should have recorded it. I should have just put my phone on to voice record so I could play a little bit back to you, so you can realise if you are feeling a little bit transphobic, if you wake up in the morning and think, I think I'll be a bit transphobic today, you can play that back and go, no, I don't want to be on the same side as them. That's definitely not for me. But yeah, so the way the conference works here in Liverpool, we have the main sort of conference hall, and then in the room adjoining that, you have all these stalls that are set up. So you'll have things like the little stall for Best for Britain. You'll also have the stall for, like, I don't know, hydrogen power. There's lots of pressure groups that are here, but also GB News are here. Which I mean, Gammon Box News is a bit uncomfortable at the conference, as far as I'm concerned. Don't really want Gammon boxing my inbox up with their gammon. Yeah, so it's a bit of a weird mix. So you see people like Tom Harwood there at this Labour Party conference, and you think, what are you doing here? It's just weird, It's a very strange sort of mix when you're in that bit. But then you go down into the other building, which is called the ACC, and there's rooms there, like conference rooms, where there's talks. Me and Tansky went to one yesterday, which was about Labour for PR and the various groups that are pushing for PR. There's loads of them. It was really funny. The woman came out at the beginning and said, hey, can we have the people for PR over here? Yeah. And the families for PR. Yeah. And Labour for PR. You're here. Yeah. And PR for everyone. Yeah. And there's about 17 different groups, and I'm sitting there at the back going, it's the people popular front that you do here as well. When you all work together, why are you all separate groups? But it was organised by Labour for New Democracy, or it looks like Land, but it's Labour for number 4, New Democracy, and which is an offshoot of Labour for Electoral Reform. So there's these little subgroups and subgroups, and we all want the same thing. Andy Burnham came and talked, it was just one of them where like everyone's on the same page. And to be honest with you, the hard work's been done with PR as far as Labour's concerned, because in the last conference, Labour Party delegates voted for an amendment to voted to push for PR. They want to implement PR, which isn't going to happen in this manifesto. I'll just tell you that now. I'll let you down gently. It's not going to happen in this manifesto, but it's very, very, very likely to be in the 2029 manifesto if Labour win next year. Touch wood. Hopefully they will. It should be good. It should be good. Colin Baker, thank you very much for £5. Have a super chat for being so kind at being corrected. You are welcome, Colin. It's good, because one thing that fills me with dread is if I've misheard or misinterpreted a fact and I then parrot it and then it's not true, I get absolutely mortified, especially if I do it on video. And I've been tempted to go back to some of these live videos and like delete the whole thing because I've said one thing wrong. I got like one statistic wrong. No, it wasn't 10,000, it was 1,000. And it's like, you know how it is. Burnham is a legend. Burnham absolutely is a legend. And I voted for Burnham to be leader back in 2015. I still have the campaign literature. I don't know where it is, but I've also got these leaflets printed for Labour Social to show off. There's little me on there talking about the channel. And yeah, I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who's been watching for the last 6 months. We are now on nearly 36,000 subscribers, which is incredible. Labour on the Labour actual channel is only on 45,000 last time I checked, and we've had 1.5 million views since we launched at the end of March, which is phenomenal. I mean, that is just an incredible testament to you, the viewers who are coming back to watch us, and also the team here, including Supertansky and Aid, and obviously Phil. Phil is really a driving force behind this channel. He's really got behind it, and I couldn't have done this without them, and it's been fantastic that they've given up their time, their free time, to make this channel work, because we don't want just want Labour to get into power massively in the next election, just absolutely annihilate the Tories. We also want to be able to have those conversations with Labour MPs. We want to have that access where they know who we are and know that they're not going to, we're not Novara Media, we're not Double Down News, we're not set up to slag Labour off all the time, but we will ask difficult questions, and we will be pushing what we think is important, like PR, UBI, and the EU, and rejoining the EU at some point. So you know where we're coming from on this channel, and it's not exclusively for people who vote Labour or Labour members necessarily, and we're teaming up with people who are pushing for the tactical voting in the upcoming election, because we really need to smash the Tories. We need them down to double digits. I mean, if I had my way, they'll be down to single digits for what they've done to this country. But I would like you to do something for me, okay? I'd like you to try and get your Tory voting relatives, anyone thinking of voting Tory that you know, friends, colleagues, neighbours, to watch Channel 4's Partygate. It's only an hour long. I don't even think it's an hour. I think it's about 45 minutes long. It's not that long. Get them to watch it. It's really powerful. It's just based on Sue Gray's report. It's a dramatisation, but it also mixes in real footage of Boris Johnson making his speeches, saying, stay in, don't go out anywhere, and then having these absolutely momentous piss-ups in his house. In the People's House in Downing Street. Eurosh, thank you very much for the €10, mate, in the super chat there. Looking elegant today, Graham. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. I will start moving towards, getting a bit smartened up for Labour Social in the future. I'll warn you now. And obviously, as it gets colder, it's not cold at the moment. I mean, it's positively tropical here in Liverpool, thanks to global warming. The beanie will come out. So I was like, why do you always wear a hat? And there's a couple of reasons, but in the winter, it's cold in our house up in Durham. But in the summer, the real reason, I'll let you know, a little trade secret, is that I've got a green screen behind me. So I think someone said in the chat the other day, not in the chat, like in the comments, oh, you're going on about not having any money, up north, and look at the beautiful building you're in. And I'm like, it's a fake. This was drawn on like, I don't know, on Mid-Journey or something. That's not even a real place. It's just made up by AI. But when you're doing a green screen, if you've got hair or a little bit of hair, it doesn't crop the hair out very well, and I get really anal about this kind of stuff. So that's where we're at. So you get a nice cut off there for the green screen behind me. Obviously, indeed. Against Bad Bone saying the handful of people I know who would even think of voting Tory have already announced that they either just won't vote or certainly won't vote Tory. Yes, Bad Bone 777. So that makes me so happy. It's phenomenal. I was talking to we were talking with Tansky and a few others yesterday, and we were talking about the fact that the 18 to 24-year-olds, when they were polled earlier, late last year, they found that only 2%, nationwide, 2% polled said they were going to vote Conservative. 2%. And Tansky said, well, there's been an update since then. Since that poll, it's now 1%. 1%, which is phenomenal. Does anyone else troll Tories on Facebook? I have a laugh at the Blythe page. Only 700 subs to it, and that's the majority. Subs being the operative word. Howard says, did you spot Rachel Reeves announce LP looking to recover the 7.2 billion ripped off on Sunak shifts as Chancellor and PM? Bring it on. Yeah, Howard. Again, that's something that we should probably make a video about on this channel. I think that the Labour conference is going to give us a lot of material to talk about and to go through, and especially with Phil doing Labour Vision, which talks about different Labour policies. There's going to be a lot more Labour policies now to talk about, and it's one of those things that kind of annoys me that people go, oh, but Labour want to do this, Labour want to do that, and I'm like, if it's not in the manifesto and they haven't announced it at a conference or something, it's very unlikely that is actually something that they plan to do, which is why the Telegraph's headline I think it was last Friday, where they said they're going back on their manifesto promise about HS2. I was like, what manifesto? Well, the 2019 manifesto, it's gone. That's it. It was defeated. Not enough people voted for it, or the party, or the leader, and it's gone. It's not a thing anymore. And the new manifesto for the next election, which presumably is 2024, it's not been written yet. Well, maybe it has been written, but it hasn't been published. So who knows what's in the manifesto? So the Telegraph accusing Labour of going back on a manifesto promise when they're not in power is quite rich. But I suppose they have to spin the fact that the Tories have actually failed the nation so magnificently they can't even do HS2 right. Anyway, there you go. Di says, £10. Admit it, Graham, you're follically challenged. Well, that's another reason. Because I used to have these beautiful curly ginger locks down to my shoulders. Oh, great days. Great days. But yeah, you get older, don't you? I blame the testosterone. But yeah, thank you very much for the super chat. It makes that bitter pill a little sweeter to swallow. I'm not saying you don't look good in the shirt and tie, Graham, but it's just so weird. Love it. Yeah, do I look like I know what I'm talking about now? Tory's manifesto is about making the most money for themselves and their friends, nothing more, nothing less. Yeah, Yosh, you're absolutely right. That's all it's ever been. That is all it's ever been. Right, I've got to head off back into town, get to Camper Furnace, drop off all this kit, camber and stuff for the live streaming, 5 o'clock today on Labour Social, and it'll be me and Phil Morehouse and Super Tansky and Marina Perkis and Femi Olawale in the flesh. We're all going to be there, and we'll be talking about social media, and it'll be talking about how we got social media to work for us, and in some cases it didn't. So we'll be talking about the power and the pitfalls of social media, and obviously we'll be talking a bit about how the pebbles of things like getting demonetized. We'll be talking about like how we build up an audience. We're talking about problems with Twitter over the last 12 months since Elon Musk took it over. Oh my god! And new platforms starting like Blue Sky and also Threads, and I guess Mastodon, which was a thing for a little bit, but then everyone went, don't really know what we're doing here. But there you go. So yes, 5 o'clock today. Tune in here on Labour Social and for the Labour Social. And like I say, this is going to be the first of these, and I'm hopefully, if we can get some funding for the channel, like some serious funding, what I want to be able to do is do one of these events once a month, somewhere around the country. It'll move, so the next one might be in Leeds, might be in Manchester, might be in Birmingham, might even be down in London, so people can get to them and come and meet us. Because one of the big things that we want to do with this channel is not just tell you stuff, you know, we want it always to be a two-way street of communication and community. And I know that sounds really woolly and, you know, yeah, right on, dude, but it's really important that we have these conversations and that you are included in these conversations. And I you know, it's just my anti-establishment thinking. I just hate being lectured to. I'd rather have a conversation. And even the chat that we're having at the Labour Social, I mean, it's not going to be like prepared statements. So this is what we're going to say today. It's all going to just be an informal chat about how we got started, and I'll be officiating, so I'll be just asking questions on the panel, and then it'll be open to a Q&A for people in the audience. I don't know what I'm going to do about the sound on that one, but we will see. We will see. It's not that big a venue, so it should be all right. I'll ask people to shout. Have a fantastic day, mate. Hopefully the cabinet hears and actually gets their social media gaming gear. They can't keep neglecting it, says Grim Fandango. Thank you very much, Manny Calavera. Okay, right, I'm going to head off now and into the wild blue yonder. But before I go, I just want to say thank you so much for following this channel. Thank you so much for making it what it is. And yeah, I'll see you at 5 o'clock. All being well, technical problems be damned. And until then, I'll say hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye.